Hey guys, this video is more so targeted for the beginner that doesn't really have much photography experience and is looking to get into vlogging. And maybe, you're on the internet looking for a ton of information as far as what's the best camera to buy. To me, these are just like really good recommendations from my personal experience from being a photographer for 8 years. So I'll start off with the cameras, first of all. I've been a Nikon guy for a long time. This is actually my DSLR that I've used for a couple of years, and it's the D800 Nikon, and this thing's a tank. It's got to be like 5 pounds. I'm probably just making that number up, but whatever. But imagine having to travel with this. So this was the first camera that I had before I acquired these two, and when the idea of creating videos came up, I'm like, I can't travel with this thing. This is too heavy. Plus, it was my only camera at the time, and I'm like, if something happens to my camera, I'd be devastated. And when you're traveling, you're prone to a lot of things happening. You can either lose your luggage, or you can drop it, or you can get stuck in like bad weather, and sometimes that may affect the camera. But going into it, the first camera that I purchased, actually, aside from this one, for my travel needs was this very small X-T2 Fuji. And I had never really looked at Fuji before. Typically people rave about Canon and Nikon. This camera right here was very inexpensive. I got it off eBay for maybe $700, and it came with the lens. It came with actually this lens, the 18-55, which is one of the sharpest lenses I've ever worked with. And for $700, you just can't go wrong. Now, this camera only does 1080p, which served the purpose initially for a bit, but this day and age, everybody's into 4K, so that's why I wound up upgrading to this camera, the X-T2, which recently came out. And since I love this camera so much, I figured, why not? This is basically the upgrade to this camera in a sense. And this one isn't weatherproof, but this one actually is. And this one is slightly bigger, as you can see side by side. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, but the 4K on this camera is really amazing. And now I take both cameras with me because I like to have backup. But this camera, the X-T2, thus far I've been using it for maybe a month and a half now, and it's a phenomenal camera. These mirrorless cameras now, just images right off the camera. Just the way this captures colors and just the setting and lighting is just amazing. And for the price, for $700, you're gonna get pictures right out of the camera. You can transfer them right onto your phone because the camera comes with built-in Wi-Fi, and it makes it really convenient when you're traveling to capture the moment and upload it right to your social media. These cameras are available body only. If you already happen to have, if you are a photographer and you have already existing lenses, that's great. You'll be able to save a couple of bucks by just acquiring the body. But if you're new to the game and you're just looking for a good camera, I highly recommend getting the 18-55 lens. For this camera, I got the fixed 27mm lens because it's just so compact and it's so lightweight. Since I already have this zoom lens, I can get away with having this fixed lens on the other camera. But the zoom lens gives you a lot more versatility. You also, since you're able to zoom into 55mm, you get a lot more depth of field when you're shooting subjects or yourself, which is really cool for really nice images when you're traveling. And I have links to both of these cameras right in the description. The third in line would be my Hero Session. This one actually died on my last trip to Turks and Caicos, and I contacted GoPro and they're sending me a replacement after I send this one back tomorrow. But this is such a great tool, this little tiny thing right here, because the 4K quality, it's really good, at least during the daytime. Once the lighting conditions aren't as bright, it literally goes to crap. I think my iPhone takes better footage than than this in the dark, and also pictures. The pictures just like the camera pretty much cripples out once you get into dark settings. But for things like adventuring, going underwater, you know, any type of sports, anything that requires like moving, this is it right here. And you can also get the regular Hero 5 black, but I opted for this one because it's just so compact and just easy. It just has 2 buttons, and it's just like a really simple operation. And when I'm on the fly, sometimes I like to just catch things on the spot. And I just love the small, low profile of this thing. And this, coupled with this 3-axis gimbal that I got off Amazon, that I actually bought with Amex points, so I pretty much got it for free. This thing is amazing, and it's crazy that just some years back, in order for you to get like stable imagery, you would have to have this huge rig, and now we're down to something that fits in the palm of your hand. And this, coupled with the camera, you can attach it to like a simple selfie stick. I've had this for a couple of years. I just had it laying around. And I barely used it until I got my GoPro, and it just came in handy. You can acquire one of these things for like 10-15 bucks online. And this is a must-have right here. And the cool thing about this is that it brings 2 extra batteries. You can charge the device through your USB, or you can charge the batteries rather right through the device. Or it brings also a separate small like battery cartridge thing that you can use for charging. And the cool thing about this is that it's all, you can charge it through the USB. So if you have a power pack like this, which is another tool that it's a necessity when you're traveling. This is pretty compact. This will charge my phone about 5 times in full. And also to charge the batteries for like the gimbal or the cameras, it's ideal. The worst thing is when you're traveling, you want to capture a moment and you run out of battery, you run out of memory. So always ensure that you always have extra batteries or extra chargers while you're traveling, as well as extra memory cards, because sometimes you might have a memory card that may go bad as well. So you always want to keep at least 2 backups of each. I personally travel with the 2 batteries that are inside the camera, plus 2 additional ones. I've also included this. If you're looking at acquiring the Fuji, this is the perfect small kit for like extra batteries. And this also charges via your USB, so you can charge right off the power pack. I think everyone should also have a card reader. This thing just makes life easier when it comes to transferring files, and this is very inexpensive. I've also included a link to, not this one, but just the basic card reader. And then lastly, this is a Rode microphone, and this is the Pro version, which runs for about 230 bucks. And these mics, you don't have to get the Pro. You can get the more basic one that's maybe like 90 bucks, and it'll get the job done. And last but not least, like if you can't afford to buy some of these things, literally all you need is your iPhone. Like you shouldn't have to wait till you have equipment to start creating content and putting up videos. The iPhone 7, like some of my videos, I took the footage right off my iPhone 7. And the cool thing about the iPhone 7 is that it's waterproof. When my camera died in Turks, and I couldn't get footage underwater with these cameras, I actually just took my iPhone 7 and I took the risk and went in the ocean with this thing, and I was able to capture some footage of the fishes and stuff like that, and even take some selfies underwater, which is great. But the quality on the iPhone 7, the 4K quality, is amazing. I can compare it to the footage that I get off of this camera, which in my opinion is really, really good. So if you can't afford any of these things, you can easily acquire a gimbal for your phone and just use your phone to get most of the footage. It's not going to be as practical as like having a GoPro or having one of these cameras, but you can still capture amazing video and amazing pictures just using your iPhones. Once you run into a little bit of money, you can acquire one of these, which does decent video, and it's going to take amazing photos. And you can travel with something that's really compact, that's not going to take up a lot of your luggage space. All this stuff that I have right here, minus this big ass camera, obviously, it literally takes up like a third of my backpack. So I don't have to, I don't have to worry about carrying any crazy heavy equipment to get all my footage. So I think this is great. These are some really, really good options. And as a photographer for 8 years, just my evaluation of using these cameras, and I've used, a couple of other cameras in my career, I think these are like the best bang for the buck. These Fujis are just, these mirrorless cameras, they're just getting so small and just doing so much for the size and the price. So I highly recommend these Fuji cameras. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. You can contact me directly through my website, makelifedope.com. You can also message me via Instagram or Facebook. All of my links are on makelifedope.com for my social media. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hope you can share with anybody that you may know that's looking into getting into vlogging. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll be posting videos on a weekly basis, whether it's travel, business, things for just inspiration, or anything that will encourage or help you make your life doper. Thank you, and make sure you stay tuned for more.